Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning stretch. It feels like a little while since we stretched together live. It was a bank holiday and then I was away last week. But we're here, we're back, and I'm glad that you're joining me for a 20-ish minute full body stretch routine to help you loosen up, feel refreshed and ready to face the rest of your week. So there are a few little rules that we like to remind you of before we start, and that is that if you experience any pain or discomfort during any of the movements, then I want you to either stop or to modify to something that suits you better. If you feel unwell, make sure you stop. And if you're exercising alone, it's a good idea to have a method of communication nearby. Just have a phone to hand in case you need to reach out for any help. We're going to go through, as I said, a whole body routine. You don't need any special equipment, just your mat and some space to move your arms and legs in all directions. So I think with all of that said and done, let's get ourselves started. You're going to stand with your feet just a little bit wider than hip width apart, a fairly relaxed stance with the chest open, lifting up through the crown of the head. We'll start with some deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Good, again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Last one, fill right into the bottom of your ribs. And then exhale. And we continue to lengthen the spine. Turn the palms face forward now, arms out a little bit to the side. You're going to squeeze your hands into fists and then spread the fingers out as wide as you can. Good, do that again. Squeeze the hands into fists. Spread the fingers out as wide as you can. We'll do two more. Squeeze in, open out. And last one, squeeze in and open out. Good stuff. And then just give those arms a little bit of a loosen off. Hands coming onto hips now and feet coming a little bit closer together. We're going to loosen off with your foot and ankle by circling round. So if you press the ball of the foot in towards the floor, heel is lifted up off the floor and you're circling round. And now change the direction of that circle, go around the other way. Keep lifting up tall through the crown of the head. And then planting that foot firmly down in towards the mat again. Bend at the ball of the foot on the other side and circle round. And then go around the other way. Marvelous. Taking the feet a little bit wider apart. Arms down by your side and we lean over. Lengthen when you get to the end of the available range. Pull back up again before you go to the other side. Lean and pull up. So we're introducing a little bit of movement to your lower spine, middle back. Good. Keeping it moving. Just getting to the end of the range and then back the other way. Wonderful. Now we're going to bend our knees. I'll come sideways a little bit so you can see. We're going to bend our knees and you're going to support the weight of your upper body through your hands by resting them onto the tops of the thighs there. You're going to curve and round your back, so it's a standing cat stretch. And then we release out the other way, squeeze the shoulder blades, raise your eye line up. Breathe in, curl up. Breathe out, release. And when you breathe in, try and fill the ribs. And when you breathe out, we're squeezing those shoulder blades together. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Last 2. Brilliant. Roll yourself up into a nice strong standing position, and we're going to make our way down on towards the floor now. So coming down onto your back. And if you can comfortably get yourself down there, you might want a little block or a cushion maybe just to rest your head up onto. But if you're comfortable just laying flat on the floor, then you go ahead and do that. Feet and knees should be together. And just have a moment to try and let the weight of your body sink in towards the floor. You're going to place your arms out to the side with your palms facing up to the ceiling. Both knees are going to go over one way and your head turns the opposite way to the knees. So stretching out through the lower part of the back. Come through the middle and then over to the other side. Brilliant. Through the middle and over to the other side. And we're going to keep alternating sides. Try and keep it to a nice steady pace. I always find it easier to kind of sync the movement to my breath. So I'll breathe in as the knee comes up and out as they go over. So exhaling into the stretch. You might find that you're comfortable to do that, but equally just go with whatever suits. It's a gentle loosening to begin with. We'll do one more to each side. And then you come into the center, you pick up one knee, two knees and squeeze them in and then rock from side to side. So this is kind of like massaging your lower back in towards the floor, maybe even a little circle round with the knees, smooshing your back into the floor. Wonderful, and then we come back down to where we started. Feet this time though going about hip width apart, same with the knees. So we're just in a comfortable stance there. Make sure you've got enough room to be able to take both arms overhead. And we're going to do exactly that. But we're just going to go with one arm at a time first. So one arm goes over, the other one stays down. Take a straight switch. As one goes down, the other one comes up. And we're going to keep scissoring our arms like that. Inhale through the middle. Exhale goes down. In through the middle. Exhale goes down. Now on this next one, if you leave one arm up, and then take the other one up to meet it. Now you might be able to get both arms overhead with the elbows relatively straight, but if you find that you're struggling to get those hands to rest down onto the floor, or if you find that your rib cage is flaring and lifting, then maybe just soften the elbows a little bit to a point where you can get those hands to more comfortably rest and you can get the ribs to sink down onto the floor. So it's finding that compromise of the two. I'm going to just extend mine out a little bit, bring the knees and feet back together, and then feel as if I'm connecting those shoulder blades in towards the floor. I want you to do the same, like they're Velcroed down onto your mat. You're then going to do the same movement as we did before, which was the knees side to side, but you get an extra bit of a stretch up along the kind of the lat where this bit underneath the armpit is. And then we swap to the other side. And we're going to spend a little bit longer in that rotated position. So before we were kind of going swing and swing over, nice and rhythmical. This time I'm going to get you to go over and to hold. Focus on the shoulder blades being fixed in towards the floor, but the knees taken over. Good. Keep swapping from side to side. Last one over now. Good stuff. Back into the middle and then bringing your arms down by your side. Now, I want you to try and stretch the outside part of the thigh and your bottom muscle, which is your glute muscle. And we're going to do that with our figure 4 stretch. So we'll start by crossing one foot up onto the other knee. And this knee, this bent knee that's up in the air, you're going to use the hand on the same side to push it away. So you're opening out that position. Now you might find at this point that you've got an adequate stretch around your hip, it's doing what you want it to do. And if that's the case, then you stay there. If you want to increase the stretch, if you feel like you've got a little bit more movement in it, you're going to pick up the bottom leg and bring that in towards you. So you bring your foot off the floor and bringing that bottom leg in towards you. Still keep this top knee pushed open and out. And you should then feel that a little bit more around the outside of your hip and thigh. So you're kind of pulling in with the underneath leg, pushing away with the bottom one. Good. Let's swap that over. So foot onto the opposite knee, push the top knee open and away. Relax the shoulders into the floor. And then if you want to wind the stretch up a little bit more, you pick up that bottom leg, using the hand to push the top knee away. Finding your maximum stretch and just sitting into that, relaxing into it a little bit. Good, now swap over again. So we are going to do one more of that on each side. So exactly like we did before, just swapping the leg, foot onto the opposite knee, push the top knee open, bring that bottom leg up and in. And on this second time around, maybe just play around with the angle of it a little bit. So you can lean more to one side or the other. And we're all going to be a little bit different on this one, but you will feel the stretch in a slightly different place. It'll feel a bit more intense when you get to the right spot. So make sure you're getting the maximum stretch, getting the most benefit out of it. Let's swap over. Up we come, pulling in. And like I said before, play around with the angle a little bit. See where you can get the most effective stretch for you. Okay, well done. Untangle yourself from there, and then you're going to make your way onto your side, please. So if you come and lay on your side, and I'm just going to prop my head up on my hand. You might feel more comfortable to rest your head on your upper arm, or if you've got a pillow or a cushion nearby, you can always use that. We're going to use this position to stretch out the front of our thigh, open up along the front of the hip there. So I need you to bring the knee up and in towards you, grab a hold of might be your shin, your ankle, your toes, anywhere on that lower part of the leg that you can use to pull your heel in towards your bottom. Once you've got as much bend in the knee there as you can, bringing the heel to the bottom, you're then going to take that thigh backwards. And we're just going to try and keep our weight a little bit forwards, keeping the heel squeezed as tightly in towards the bottom as you can, and taking the leg back. So you're opening the front of the thigh. And you might want to just kind of go in and out of that movement a little bit, maybe. See how you feel. But opening the front of the hip. Good. Wonderful. And then this top leg that we've just stretched out, we're going to take it down in front of us. You might get a little bit stretch through the outer thigh there. If you're reasonably loose, you possibly won't feel that as much. But that's just going to then take us round onto our tummies. So we're going to lay on our front into this modified cobra. So we've got our elbows down on the floor. We're curving our lower back and letting the hips sink down in towards the floor. If you want to extend this stretch, you can push through the arms, bring the elbows up off the floor, but make sure you're keeping the hips down on the mat. So that helps to stretch out the lower back. We're going to come down and out of there and rolling onto the other side to do our front of the thigh stretch on the other side. So as we did last time, you bring the knee up and in towards you, you grab a hold of your shin, your ankle, your heel, whatever you can to get a hold of to bring the heel in towards the bottom as tight as you can. Keep your weight slightly forwards, and then we're going to open out that leg, open the front of the hip. And it's pretty typical to have one side that feels a little bit freer than the other. So if you do notice that, That's okay. It's something that we just work towards a bit more symmetry. If you want to release and then reposition yourself in that stretch, remember nice wide full breaths. We'll do a release and another open. Good, let's maybe try one last one. Heeling towards the bottom, pelvis rolling slightly forward. Marvellous, and then top knee down onto the floor in front of you, just opposite of that stretch there. And then we come back around, so face forward, but rather than being in that cobra position, we're now coming into 4-point. So knees and hips about, hang on, I'll get this right in a minute. Knees and feet about hip width apart, and then hands positioned just underneath the shoulders, so they're shoulder width apart. Into your cat stretches. So we did some of these at the beginning in standing. It's the same principle. You're going to curve them around the back and release out the other way. Inhale, big curve and round. Exhale, release. Keep going. Three more. Last one. Brilliant. And then next onto a child's pose. So I'm going to rest my bottom down onto my heels. Toes are still tucked underneath. I'm pushing my hands in towards the floor. So I'm pushing my tailbone down towards my heels and sliding those arms out in front. It's quite nice to take a little rock from side to side here. If you find you've got one side that's maybe a little bit tighter, a little bit more snaggy, then just work on trying to loosen into that. Good, and then you're going to unfold, bringing yourself then up into a standing position. So nice and gently up you come. Sometimes you can feel a little bit of a whoosh as you stand up. So take your time coming up into standing. Steady yourself. And then we are in our nice strong stance position again. So lifting and lengthening up through the crown of the head. Let's take some shoulder rolls here, up, round and back. Good, and we're going up, round and back so that we focus on this opening of the chest. 2 more. Good, and then just settling into something that's a little bit more comfortable. The only bit left that we've got to stretch is your neck. So if you can bring your ear over to the shoulder on one side, taking a hold of your head and just a little bit of overpressure to gently extend and elongate the stretch. Come back up into center, and then we'll go to the other side. Same sort of thing, gentle bit of overpressure. Good, and coming back up into the middle, nod the chin down to the chest. Roll the ear to the shoulder one way. Down, roll the ear to the shoulder the other way. Coming back up in center. And I said the only bit we had left to stretch was the neck, but we haven't done much for the backs of the legs. So let's finish with a standing roll down. It's always a nice way to reset after any sort of stretch or mobility routine. So we're going to do that by taking a big breath in. And then with the exhale, you're going to nod your chin to your chest. You're going to round the shoulders. You allow the knees to soften. And you're going to dangle your arms down towards the floor. Feeling that pull and stretch up the back of the legs. Take a breath in at the bottom of the movement. And then out, you come back up. Roll the shoulders, bring the collarbones wide. Do that again. Inhale at the top. And exhale, nod chin to chest. Curve and round, lengthen and reach to the toes. Inhale. Exhale, come back up. And this one will be our last one. In at the top. Out as you roll forwards and down. to hold. Out, we come all the way back up, stacking each little vertebrae up on top of one another. Rolling the chest open, lift through the crown of the head. Fantastic, well done. And that is your Monday morning stretch and mobility routine complete. We will be back next Monday as normal with another stretch at 10 a.m. and I'll be delighted to see you there. If you're watching this on catch up, then thanks for joining me whenever it is, but I'll see you live again next Tuesday at 10. Take care, bye bye.